ladies and gentlemen. My name is LaurenAlberg, and this is my capstone presentation on Mother Road Brewing Company and the urban expansion retrofit of Seattle Fire Station 6. So, one of my biggest problems I found in researching was that I was frustrated with the fact that I didn't pick a historically significant building, and I selected a building that was completed in 2013 and was LEED certified. But this was happening in an area that was being gentrified. And I don't know if you could, it doesn't matter if you can read this because I will read it for you. It is the process of renovating and improving a house or district so that it conforms to the middle class taste. And I don't know about you, but that sounds horrible to me. I do not want to see things that are middle class taste around in my neighborhood. And gentrification is happening all around the site plan that I selected for my project. It really takes away from the cultural aspect of an area and a neighborhood. Gentrification takes away from the identity that the residents have formed over decades or centuries. You never know how long something has been there. And Seattle is very, very old. It's a port city, so it has a lot of these really rich cultural buildings that are surrounding this modern fire station. And I think it's important for us to recognize that the greenest building in design is a building that already exists. It is not a new construction. It is one that is already currently in place. But it was a challenge for me thinking, okay, this green building, it's already being green. How do I take this building and turn it into a successful business that's going to be placed in an area that businesses aren't coming to at the moment because of all of the construction, gentrification, and kind of loss of character around it. And for the concept, I decided to select my client of Mother Road Brewing Company here in Flagstaff. They have a really strong mission statement, and their values like radical hospitality, dauntless curiosity, and puckish. They are just really fun company that curate a sense of family within their business. I've personally patronized at their establishments and gotten to see how they do their brewing system, and it's all really sustainable. They focus a lot on community identity and bringing people together through good production of beer. And I think that that's something that in today's society, the trend, it's very millennialized, they want something that gives a little something extra. So I wanted to take their embodiment of their company and brand and turn it into this space that they can utilize and create that kind of environment within a new place, like in an all new region in the Pacific Northwest, where I think that this business would thrive in. It connects, using the fire station and Mother Road Brewing Company, connects the history of great local company to a brand level where it would thrive as a business, meaning that it going from a railroad to a fire station, they're both like sort of timeless. Everyone knows what each one of those things are and traits about them, and it'll incorporate them in a way that's educational and inclusive to everyone that could come to this establishment. I wanted to make sure that the company's values align with my target goal of the design. So the overall aesthetics and the overall themes of the environment are something that I think Mother Road would be proud of, and that they could see themselves implementing as a design aspect in their future. If they do expansions, I think that this is something that they can utilize and be a good example for. My final concept outcome research, I did a lot of touring of breweries and brewery layouts. I wanted to create an environment for Mother Road that enhances their production, so it's bigger, it's more equipped, and it's basically bigger, faster, stronger, but also sustainable. And with that, being really mindful of water treatment systems. There's a treatment system on site already. Being a fire station, they have all their hoses and equipment like that. So I also kept in mind that I wanted to keep areas of the building that already had significant plumbing and sewage and things like that already implemented in a LEED certified way, that I wasn't going to be inhibiting that, and I would reutilize those systems in those areas for brewing and for bar and pub experiences for the user. This is my final floor plans that I came up with. I'm utilizing all the same flooring on the first floor, just the concrete laid on the bottom. All the production in the back of the brewing, all the production in the back that does the brewing. You have fermenters, you have your reverse osmosis station, your keg washer, malt storage, and then you have my three highlights that I wanted to showcase is the community involvement areas that I have included, my specific elevation areas that sort of show you the life of what is happening within the space, and the sustainable practices. So these are actually bathrooms that are already implemented, just being renovated and to fit the new aesthetic of a brewery instead of a firehouse. Firehouse is very cold, kind of, you gotta be in and out really quickly. There's not a whole lot going on, not a whole lot of decoration happening. So I wanted it to all fit. And the involvement of the public art gallery and kids area so that it is family friendly, welcoming to all ages and all user types, with an ADA accessible entrance, an elevator that gets you to both floors, and a open floor plan so that there's carefree to move all throughout the floor plan. And the tasting area that's going to be the main focal point of the entrance. It will draw people back in, because how often do you get to see a fire truck at a bar? Not that often. So it creates kind of a centerpiece for the community around it that will draw not only local residents in, but also people that are visiting Seattle and hear about this new Route 66 themed brew house and a fire station. It just is going to draw a lot of people into it, and it has a lot for people to do inside of it. There are activities that promote social interaction. That is something that is really lacking in today's modern businesses, is getting people to really interact with each other rather than just the new technology or the aesthetics of an environment. It really is supposed to be engaging. Moving into more of my in-depth concepts, so the entrance I focus on being really inclusive, because I know that we're trying to draw in as many possible users as possible. Wanted to showcase that this area, it has a 2-level ADA accessible height reception desk that also does the checkout for merchandising in this area that's right across from the tasting. You have this child's area that has a train tracks on it that also have a fire truck station and just little interactive things for kids to play with while their parents are at the tasting, obviously supervised by the employees that are going to be hired there. The public art gallery is going to be this freestanding little line right here. It's like a grate that you can attach art to without damaging it. So if it is local art, which it is intended for, they can be interchanged easily and without damage to the actual art, whether that be from the local church that's right across the street or the neighboring high school. It can just honor anyone that's in the surrounding area to it. It'll also include along the walls of the whole local community area history about the Mother Road Brewery and how they started and how they began and what their values are and why there'll be an interactive art display where you take spools of yarn, I don't know if you've ever seen that, and you line it up to what makes you you, your identity. So they say what makes you you, and it has displays of views back into the production area when you get along more north of that. This is just showcases that there's a TV where that will be the train tracks, the all-inclusive, the ADA compliant bathroom that was not changed locations from the previous building, and fire information to have displayed throughout so that people can know how to prevent fires. It is a fire station after all. This space will be community-oriented and has a social and inviting atmosphere. This fire truck bar with the tasting area and merchandising with another bathroom right here. And it's going to showcase a TV on the backspace and ambient lighting above to pay homage to that is in the fire station. And the sustainable systems that are in place there is a low flow wash bar wash to keep dishes that so you don't have to do as many big loads. The bartender can just do a wash right next to there. And then you have the ambient lighting that's placed throughout, and also these windows are kept at a daylighting control. So it usually is pretty cloudy in Seattle, so you don't get that much daylight in anyway, so it'll allow for more light to get in versus when it's really, really bright out, like once a summer, then it'll have a like dim, like almost like those glasses that you wear to control the light that gets through. I wanted to acknowledge that with this little lightning bolt connected down here, that right when you walk through, you get pops of nature motifs and natural elements, which I feel Mother Road Brewery is very passionate about, using minimalist, rustic elements to convey their style. They have the industrial gear to turn your table up and tell them that you want to order. So I wanted to incorporate that aspect with different materials, woods materials, metal materials. I wanted to have simplistic elements like with metals connecting to wood, different colors of wood, all lighter because we are keeping the existing concrete in place, so it'll feel a little bit dark, and the white brick wall on the back lining to the accent walls, so that you still get a little bit of that texture, this wall covering over that. And continuing with the community-oriented aspect, we're moving to the second floor, the entrance down here, the hostess stand, to the restaurant aspect of it. So it does actually have a full-service kitchen, all using Energy Star appliances, systems in place that are not shifted too far from their original spot. They do have an original almost house kitchen for the fire station before, so I just shifted that back, kept the plumbing chase in the same place, having a serving station that's right here so that employees have easy access to get in and out, or to have to run up and down the stairs to get to the service elevator. There's not any furniture that's blocking it. I wanted to elevate this surface right here, this gaining area surface that has cork hung dartboards and vintage posters that showcase the Mother Road Brewery, Route 66, and has that kind of retro vibe to it. You have the speakers that are all throughout, so that when music's playing, everyone in the whole space can hear it, not just where the musical stage is. There's going to be a panel that is clear and see-through on both of these sides, so you can actually see down into the production areas and interactive displays down on the first floor, the community aspect. You have this faux green wall that is a natural element, since I kept this Armstrong vinyl floor covering because I knew that we'd want to make the second floor seem a little bit more like a finished environment rather than the first production floor of that. I wanted to incorporate more rustic element lighting fixtures and minimalistic furniture throughout the space next to the pool tables. It is movable, it's not sunk to the ground, so they can store a lot of these things into the various storing areas throughout. If they have different events they need to host or different parties they have to accommodate for people with different abilities coming in and using it, they can move. They don't have to be forced to be in shift-through spaces. It's all very movable. I wanted to include sustainable furniture. So these are manufactured by sustainable manufacturers in the United States. And there's a lounge area. So you have a lot of different environments for the user to go in and actually enjoy. So it encourages frequent visits or different party levels. If you're going by yourself, you say, I would really like to bring someone else back here, and so they can see it. My solutions within my design, looking at this diagram here, kind of moving backwards, this is what I was trying to solve. So I wanted to create a more stable community where they feel like they can come into a space that is about them and about their community, and it represents their identity and their originality. I want to boost the local economy by having the appropriate amount of brewing equipment that is significantly higher than the breweries here in Flagstaff or Mother Road. I wanted to create more jobs, so I had different aspects of the design where more employees are needed and less employees are needed. And I have the harming cultural identity. I wanted to enhance that by showcasing the cultural identity of the surrounding neighborhoods and communities. And the new business to come would be Mother Road. Their brand integrity is maintained. They have successful production growth, and they gain a more powerful reputation, get more notice, more fame. And then the current business is forced to leave. Since I'm utilizing a government-owned building, that is essential when thinking about where new businesses should be placed in a community. There are already buildings in place, and we need to utilize them in order to kind of fight back against gentrification, because it does take away so much when we do designs like these that include, biolithic design, a place where people actually feel, especially in the Pacific Northwest, the biolithic design is a key ingredient to ensuring that people are going to be happy and have positive reactions within a space when they get to see all this nature around them, and encourages them to want to come back and be involved in the space. Community identity as a whole is embedded throughout every aspect of design, ensuring there are safe pathways for people to use and clear ways for people to have different abilities come through, like ADA accessible, everything like that, bathrooms located at appropriate areas, and sustainable systems in place throughout the whole thing. There's a green roof on top of the building that is utilized with solar panels to create that renewable electric energy that's powered within the building, and a water system, a water monitoring system that can gauge how much water the brewing production is using, and then it's implemented within the production space so that workers can come and see if they are wasting too much water or not making their quotas enough for what they need for production. So it really levels it all out. It's a really successful, safe design that is authentic and genuine to the space that it's being implemented in, and the company that's going to be moving there and the community that surrounds it. The urban expansion of Flagstaff business, the success of a fire station is going to be very high because it's designed to be readapted essential community building. I want this to be a pillar of the community that has people coming in and out of it instead of fire trucks. That can encourage more walkability. There's not a lot of parking on the site, so that encourages people that live locally to not drive their cars, which again is mindful to the environment and to climate. I want this design to embody not only the history of Seattle and its dedication to the community through the fire station and the department altogether, but also pay tribute to a company that will add to a community instead of taking away from it. Thank you.
I liked how you showed the picture of the fire station. That was helped me visualize it. But I also really liked how you had the windows so you can look out onto the brewing station, because a lot of people are really interested in how it works, and even having it on that second floor creates a little bit different aspect, which I liked.
I like your fire truck bar.
I think that's super cool that you incorporated that into your design.
I feel like you really thought about all the different types of users and people who would come and visit this place, and you really tried to create a space for family, people who want to just come out to the bar, people who want to eat, a lot of different things to accommodate, and you did it very successfully.
I also like your connection of the railroad and Flagstaff, the firehouse in Seattle. I thought that was a really strong argument for why it should be there. One thing I was kind of confused about was the children's area.
Yeah, if the parents are tasting at the fire truck bar, kids, I'm not saying 2-year-olds, take your 2-year-olds with you wherever you're going, but I mean kids that, are at young elementary school age that just need something to do while their parents are drinking. I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking of.
Okay.
I like the flexibility idea of how the spaces change, and you had a written statement about philanthropic events. I've noticed in small towns, one of the hardest things to find is a room that you can use to have meetings or small events. So I think for businesses to include that part and for a designer to be thinking about that is a real plus to small businesses, and they can add to the community, which I heard over and over with your presentation, which is excellent.
I like the again it's a fire station, and a fire station has one use, and we always like to have them in a neighborhood because there's that feeling of security, but we never really go to it. So there's always this mystery thing, and your concept. What I like about it, instead of okay, well, it went from a fire station to a bar, which eliminates a lot of people. You know, if I want to drink, I can go in. If I want to go get a nosh at something, I can go in. But the idea to include, you know, the history of the fireplace, the fire station itself, and more community local events, that is, to me, that's the charm. That, I mean, then you're taking a building. To me, that's a sustainable piece. Mm-hmm. So it went from one use, not only to another one, but to another one with many more, you know, you're expanding the idea of what it's like to go to a brewery. This is a place where we can have a community event. So you know, I really
kind of like you turn it into a third place.
Yeah, it does. It really does. It really nails that. I will say, anytime when I see a remodel project, which we had another one here, you show me the after, I want to see the before.
You did one? Okay, I wasn't.
I really do. And even if it's just a, and of course,
this is the before.
With, So, and that could even, and I kind of like the fact because it left me kind of curious. Well, what does it look like? So, you know, one could argue that would have been effective to show first, but I kind of like that you saved it for last, because then I went, that's actually kind of a cool building. And now that you've explained what's on the inside, I can see what's going on the, you know,
right, sort of
around it. So. Yeah, I think that was a really good strategic move to hold that off till the end. But even if it's just, you know, if you're staying in the same footprint, it's real easy. If you have it drawn, just to here's the original one, and then let the new one bleed over it, and then
you can see what changes.
Yeah, and not even to have to go through the detail, but it's just giving us as a viewer what, you know, did it radically change how this whole thing is on the end? Did you gut the whole thing, or were there some sensitive areas that you were able to preserve and stuff? But yeah, overall, and I love the use of it. I really do. It's got a cool feel.
So to add to all of that, I do think if we could have seen some perspectives, again, it would have given you a little bit more justice to all the work that you did. But the work that you did that was evident to me is your research on the community. Holy cow, I mean, you really love this community. It shows, your passion really showed for it, and how you use that information to inform your design and to provide this really unique space for an area that's kind of unique in itself, you know, to do a unique space in a unique area.
This is all behind you, like just construction. Like there's nothing else happening except for this beautiful building.
Yeah, it's a beautiful building.
It really is a beautiful building. It was just kind of neat to see how it came and how it's changed since midterm as well. Like the site visit. Well, I mean, that's the beauty of site visits, is that it can reveal things to you that you didn't have before. Mm-hmm. So I wish you could have visited it sooner, but I understand why you couldn't have. But I think you did a good job transitioning everything to the best that you possibly could. I see everything coming together. Just maybe those little elements would have just solidified everything, but at the same time,
if I had this like 2 weeks prior.
I know.
You know, like, it's
it really was just a timing thing of how everything kind of went.
It was really a growing experience for me to just like physically see something that I'm like seeing plans of, and then realizing, oh, this isn't what I thought it was, and like having to I learned a lot about how to fix that kind of stuff.
That's good, and that's something that you can take into your future jobs, you know, to
Yeah.
just be stronger as you go moving forward. So good job, Lauren. Good job. Yay, you're done.